Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Oh, You podcast. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the. Wait a second. Shalom lekulam. Bruchim habaim you podcast. And welcome to Shelomo Dobkin for our first ever recorded podcast in Israel. You get the bracha.
I am a lucky man.
L'chaim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehakol niyeh b'dvaro. Very excited to have our Director of Product Development.
Yep.
Is that the title?
That is the title.
Shelomo Dobkin, who, if you work or live at the OU, everybody knows Shelomo. And it's exciting for us to have you on the show, on the podcast. We're really excited to get to know you a little bit better. And we're excited to do it here in Israel with our crack team, our crack squad here. But what we usually start with the hardest question, knowing you've done your research, so you know. We start with, who are you?
Yep. I definitely did my research. I've been binging. I do try to catch them once in a while, so it wasn't a complete cold start.
You know, what I didn't even mention this, but we ask at the end of when we release them, we ask people to recommend, who do you think should be on? Definitely got a lot of people who reached out and said, you need to have Shelomo Dobkin on. I think everybody on your team suggested it, but even beyond. So it's a good get for us to have you on.
Okay, awesome. I hope I do them proud. Okay, who is Shelomo Dobkin? I grew up in Brooklyn. I'm the oldest of 6, 5 boys, 1 girl. Poor her. Both my parents were Balei Tshuva, both on their own journey, which was interesting. My father worked at the lab in Maimonides. He ran the Sun computer system, big room.
Yeah. 1 computer, 1 room, right? Something like that.
I don't know if it was 1 computer. There was a lot of different machinery in there. I used to go hang out in the labs there. It's fascinating. My grandparents worked there. They ran the bio lab. When my grandfather was sitting Shiva, he decided to start keeping kosher and saying Kaddish, and my father tagged along, and that's why he became religious.
Also from Brooklyn?
Also from Brooklyn. My mom has an interesting story. When she was 17, she had a very bad allergic reaction to chicken. She was never supposed to be able to walk again.
Wow.
She should have never married, had children, but my mother is stubborn. And she likes to... Resilient and stubborn, because she's Jewish. And she liked to prove everyone wrong. And she also latched on to the religious life as part of that. And it really moved her forward. She passed a bill in Congress, the Orphan Act, to help, because it was a drug that helped her, and they took it off the market. So she advocated for it.
Wow. Was she a lawyer?
She's not a lawyer. My mother has a genius level IQ. I don't know what happened to me. I'm sorry.
There are those who might be willing to disagree with you about that. Okay.
I don't know. I like to think of it more as street smarts than the book smarts part.
Okay, I hear you.
So she's always been a force, and even now within the community in Brooklyn, she helps a lot of kids who they can't afford evaluations, or she fights against the Board of Ed. She does a lot of community service in that regard.
Amazing. Fantastic. So you took the technology background of your dad and the activism of caring about people of your mother, and you put them together to come work at the OU.
Pretty much.
Pretty much? But there were a couple steps on the way, right?
Yep. Yeah, so schooling-wise, I was in Torah Semes. I was, for high school, I went to Torah Vodas.
You look like a Torah Vodas guy.
Well, I finished the year early.
The last year is when they get to the wardrobe part? Is that what it is? That?
Yeah. I kind of decided I want to get into the workforce. I really wanted to just go out there. I wanted to go into video game design. That was my passion. So that combined art, which I was into, and technology for 3D rendering, modeling.
My son just graduated with a master's in what's called interactive media and game development.
Get out of here.
So he is looking for a job now in video game design and development.
I would love to sit and schmooze with him.
Okay, we'll set that up. We'll set that up.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. And if I could think of any contests.
And like you, he has an interesting hobby.
Which is?
Anime.
Really?
Yeah.
What's his favorite one?
So both my boys are into it. I'm gonna maybe One Piece.
Yes.
All right.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't even know what I'm talking about.
I'm gonna become like best friends with
Okay,
them.
great.
Okay.
We're gonna set it up. Okay, I'm very excited. Very excited. Okay, but you decided to not only graduate high school early, but then in your senior year, basically to finish all 4 years of college in 1 year.
It was so I went to Catherine Gibbs, associate's degree. I'm not a school. I like to do. I don't like to sit. So I went for visual communications, which they were supposed to have the 3D courses, and they did not at the end. So I went into, I graduated in 18 months, and I came out into the workforce in the marketing world, marketing advertising world, right after September 11th. So it was not a great job market out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
and where did you end up?
I had a few connections. I was doing some freelance gigs. Did you ever hear of Purim Fever?
Purim Fever.
Yep, it's a CD, old like.
I have a whole group of friends back in my shul. Thank you, Hashem guys, who they have Purim Fever, pretty much, 24/7, 365.
So there was it was prank calling. They did. I put it on. There were 3 discs at the end, so I helped remaster those.
Is that the supervisor?
Yes. Yep.
Hamad Chabrecher. That prank calls changed my life.
So I set up the audio studio because it was computers, and then I did the artwork for the CD covers.
Wow. Wow. Shai Kapitnikov from our HR department just sent out an email yesterday called Supervisor, which is a play off of that. So you're having impact. Yeah. You should get some kind of you should have trademarked that or something, copyrighted it.
Yeah. So I got introduced to a company, a Madison Avenue design firm. And everyone was downsizing at that time, and they're like, "Hey, some cheap young guy who wants work, let's give it to him." So I ended up taking over big accounts, Polaroid, Agfa, Paul Medical. I don't know if they're still around or not, but they loved me because I was cheap labor, and I knew what to do.
And at that point in life, you didn't know the difference between work-life balance, right?
Do I know that now?
I'm also not an expert on it, but you would sleep in the office.
There was a one night where there was a trade show for Paul Medical, and we had to render out these 10-foot by 10-foot vinyl panels, the graphics. And in those days, Photoshop, it took about a couple of hours to save the file and then burn it to a disk. So I had to sleep there and wait for the delivery guy.
Yeah, well, I hope now at least you don't sleep at the office, but the office does sleep in your house right now that you have some remote work opportunities.
Yes,
there's a question. People do ask whether you sleep.
People have asked. I try to get a little bit in.
Okay. And then one day you were driving, you had moved, you got married.
Got married. We met on Firmster before it was paid.
Wow.
My wife asked me, and we'll get to this later, my wife asked me on our first date, why did you write in the profile that you would never make aliyah? I said, because I'm not moving out of Brooklyn. And I said, why did you write maybe? She goes, because you never know. We'll come back to that.
Yeah, it's good. She was right.
So we moved to Passaic. And by the way, moving from Brooklyn to Passaic was harder than moving to Passaic to Israel.
Wow.
That was a big change.
Culturally or just...
Brooklyn is special.
Brooklyn is special. Yes, we know.
That's it.
Yeah, okay.
So I moved jobs a couple of times. I was working in Westchester for Towers Perrin, large consulting firm. Got good experience there.
Mm-hmm.
We had a long drive. I used to listen to the OUs, Daf Yomi with Rabbi Elephant, and the Nach Yomi, which has various different authors. And one day I was listening to, it was Yirmiyahu Membet, and it was right after Gedalia got killed.
Wow.
And I usually ask, do you know what happened after Gedalia got killed? And most people do not. What happened? They came to Yirmiyahu. They said, we're sorry. We're going to believe you now. Whatever you tell us we'll do, we'll go down to Mitzrayim or we'll stay here. Just let us know. It took Yirmiyahu 10 days to get the Nevuah. The Nevuah was Hashem basically said he had charata for destroying the Beis HaMikdash and stay here and I'll grow you out. And the people said, yeah,
we're not going to listen to you. Yeah.
Some people never learn.
That's right.
And they roped him off and brought him down to Mitzrayim where the rest of the story happened. And it was bothering me because I always try to take something out of Nach. I came home and I said, I think we should make aliyah. I can't. Why? We don't learn from our experiences. We've had so many chances. I can't think of a reason why not. My job is transferable. My wife said, when we were engaged, when we first met, you said that you didn't want to. I said, but you said maybe.
And you came to Israel.
And we came.
You had how many kids at that time?
We had 2 kids. Meira, our oldest, was 6, and Ahuva was 4.
And then you had another one here.
We had a Sabra here, and she speaks at least Hebrew after me. I speak no Hebrew.
Really? Okay. So I'm glad we're doing this interview in English.
Yes.
And now your oldest is married?
Thank God my oldest got married 2 years ago and changed.
And she just had a couple of kids.
And she had twins.
Yeah.
That is a handful. But Baruch Hashem, it's been beautiful. We've had the chance to bring them in for Pesach when they were about a month old, so my mother could meet her great-grandchildren, something no one would have ever imagined.
Wow.
You know, when we first got married and had Meira, it was like, wow, like my mother was able to see a grandchild, and this is just like a whole new level. It's unbelievable.
What fulfillment, and I guess thanks to Yirmiyahu, and maybe learning from other people's wrong turns, you've taken some really great turns, and that brought you to us, right?
It was a very small web department at that time, but we've been able to really grow something out of it, and it's been nice to grow it in Israel. We had when we first started, I had a mobile developer who was not religious, and he was working with our group. And he said, you know, Shlomo, I always had this like view about Haredim and religious people, but you guys work so hard. Like it just changed his perception about religious folk.
Amazing. Amazing. Now, it hasn't always been as smooth as we made it sound here, and you know, there's just some incredible stories here. I hope once the podcast is out, you'll start thinking about writing it down and write the book that'll inspire lots of generations. But there have been a number of situations that you've been in life where you've had challenges, and invite you to reflect on those.
So when I was 18, my father was diagnosed with cancer. It was very aggressive. We thought that he had a chance to beat it. We made a small kiddush, and unfortunately, it came back very, very aggressively to his spine. Very painful. He was in the hospice from September till Purim time.
Wow.
You know, being the oldest, it takes a large toll. I think my youngest sibling was like 7. What is everyone going to do? How are we going to function? The community was great, and so he passed away right on Shushan Purim. I believe it was on Sunday, and yeah, it was a really difficult period of time for my mom, who's already went through so much, and you know, like the joke was like he wasn't supposed to go first.
Right. Yeah.
And yeah, he was a very kind, funny, Man, he had a really good work ethic. That's where I get it from. So it's always sad thinking about like my children, how would they interact with him, just at every juncture of life. So yeah, it was difficult. Yeah.
So Hashem should continue to bless you with easier times than that, and less
Amen.
challenges and opportunities. Although you've demonstrated remarkable resilience throughout your life and into your career, right? It's not always been an easy role, even here at the OU. What do you do?
I build everything. So we started out as the web group, where we were doing anything web related sites. We had the Zmanim API at that point. We had the Jewish calendar, some Torah data. NCSY came to us and they asked, they hired an outside consultant to come in and build a system for them, which we sort of took over midstream, and that became Iceberg, the tracking system for NCSY. And slowly, we were asked to build out systems for tracking all our participants, JLIC, Yachad. We started in 2013 when the iPad was released. I said, "Hey, let's put Torah on there." That wasn't didn't come from everyone. I said, "We have a developer. Let's get a proof of concept out."
Amazing.
Which worked
Precursor
out great.
to all Torah and all Daf.
That's what everything is built on. Yeah. So thank God, we try to keep future proofing in mind. Sometimes we have to make bigger leaps, but anything web, anything back end systems, small integrations. We've been playing with AI now. Technology at its core is what we do. But again, we're doing it to enable the business to run. That's what we're here to do.
Yeah, enable is one word, but you're also growing us in new directions. That in terms of AI and thinking, not just websites to apps, but I don't know what's next. I'm not even sure. Maybe you have a sense. Where are we going?
Right now, AI is the big buzzword. So we're doing work with course generation for Torah, helping users interact, learn, be their partner. We're doing translation for the all apps to get that in there, help people chat with the data. We're looking to see how we could help the programmatic departments be more efficient.
Now you're also doing that not just on the technology side, but with personnel. A couple of years ago, you launched something that maybe at first you weren't even that excited about, which was a summer internship, summer fellowship. Tell us a little bit about that.
3 years ago, we had a couple influx of people wanting internships, and Kashrus IT department usually takes one person, and they reached out to me and said, like, "Are you interested? Could you help us evaluate the people?" And I spoke to a couple of them, and I said, "You know what? It would be interesting if we put a cohort together." And it was following the fellowship idea that was started that year, where how can we build up, have them work together to create something bigger and to learn from each other, and brought them together, created a project, helped divide up the responsibilities. Every week I brought in one of my leaders. I had my front end guys come in and give a talk about it. I had Avi Block, who's my senior engineer, come in and talk about the history of development, where we are now. I had a DevOps talk. So they got to learn. They had access to the senior staff, but without having to be constantly on top of them. And they were able to work together. And we had a successful release. The following year, we went further. Last summer, we partnered with Amazon to build out a transcription project. They gave us 2 interns. They gave us senior people to help manage the project. And we had our own set of 6 interns. And we had a write-up through Amazon.
Pretty cool.
And everyone was excited. They loved it. They were so happy with that experience. And the interns on our side were like the recommendations, just the recognition that, and with the real world project and working is so important nowadays.
And how many interns do you have this summer?
This summer we're about 17.
17 interns. Wow. We're going to switch tracks a little bit at this point. We're going to go with some rapid fire questions. Okay. What is your go-to Shabbos food at home?
For the past 5 years, has to be brisket. Since my son-in-law came in the picture,
Really?
We were not like big meat people. He came in, big meat guy.
Who makes the brisket? Really?
Yeah.
What's your favorite parsha in the Torah?
It's oven.
Why?
It's my bar mitzvah parsha.
Ah, happy bar mitzvah. Okay, good. Hopefully we'll release this before the parsha. If you could choose any Jewish historical event to witness, which one would it be? Although we did get a little bit of an inkling.
Maybe it would be that, so I could like maybe knock some sense into some people. Are we allowed to interact, or is it like time travel rules of?
I don't know. I just read an article about how now that there may be a way to do time travel without the conundrum of.
Okay. So maybe I should go knock some sense into those people.
We have an opportunity now called Turn the Tables, where you get to ask me any question that you'd like.
Okay. From technology perspective, what are some holes, gaps that the communities might have that we would be able to fill with technology?
You know, it's a funny thing. I'm not really a tech-talented person, but going back to my previous job at Yeshiva University, where I became responsible for IT, and then I went home and told my family that, and prior to that, they would not let me touch the modem because I would mess it up. I've had to sort of learn and built something of an interest in technology. But I think for so many people, there's angst, fear, trepidation around use of technology. And it could be, I don't know how to use it. And it could be, what do I do with this thing that it's got lots of stuff on it? Some of it's good and some of it's not so good. And how do I handle it? And so I wonder if there would be a way for us to help people in communities, not just to say it's all bad and let's run away from technology, but what are the ways that we can build our religious lives better through technology rather than away from?
Okay, next project.
Next project. Okay, good. All right. So the last thing we do on the podcast is we ask you to give a bracha to the OU, and however you want to, whatever it is that you want to share.
Okay. So my bracha to the OU is that we should continue the beautiful expansion that you're doing here in Israel. It's really wonderful. The programs, the visit, and that you guys keep coming in. It's great to see you. Second is that all staff should really feel the impact and feel the pride and fulfillment for the work that we are doing. And the third, maybe a little more personal, is that the technology should be nice and stable.
Love that. Love that. And so I'm going to give you back the bracha, at least the middle one, which is that you should also see all the brachas that you've brought to the OU and to our participants and people who've benefited from it, and understand how far, because of your work, your team's work, how far we've come, and that should continue to grow.
Amen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.